Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to jump into something super universal, something that's at the core of pretty much every culture. Family. We're going to figure out exactly how to talk about the people closest to you in English.
It can be a little tricky, right? Trying to find just the right words for the people who mean the world to us. You want to get it right, but sometimes it's just hard to know where to even start.
Well, that's exactly what we're here to do. We're going to start with the basics, the most essential words, and then step by step, we'll build you up so you can have those full, confident conversations about your family.
All right, let's get right into it. The best place to start is, well, with the people closest to you, what we call your immediate family.
So, first up, the word mother. Now, you might see this written down formally, or maybe hear it if someone's being super serious. But honestly, in everyday life, when you're just chatting with friends, you're almost always going to say mom. And hey, the exact same thing goes for father. It's the formal word, but what you're really going to hear, and what you'll probably use most of the time, is the more casual dad. Like telling a friend, my dad is an amazing cook.
And when you're talking about both of them together, simple. You just say parents. It's a super useful word that covers them both. So you can just say something like, I live with my parents.
Okay, but what if you have brothers or sisters? Well, a female sibling is your sister. And here's a great tip to add a little more detail. You can specify if she's older or younger than you by saying, my older sister or my younger sister.
And you guessed it, it's the exact same logic for a male sibling. He's your brother. You can call him your older brother if he was born before you, or, younger brother if he was born after you.
Okay, now here's a fantastic, super useful word you're going to love. Siblings. It's this simple gender-neutral term that lets you talk about all of your brothers and sisters at once. So instead of saying something long like, I have one brother and two sisters, you can just say, I have 3 siblings. So much easier.
Awesome. So we've got the core unit down. Now let's zoom out a bit and expand that circle to talk about your extended family.
Right. So your parents' parents, those are your grandparents. And that group is made up of your grandmother, who you'll often just call grandma, and your grandfather, who, you guessed it, is often called grandpa.
Okay, moving on. Your mom or dad's sister? That's your aunt. And your mom or dad's brother? That's your uncle. Yep, it's really that simple.
So, what about the children of your aunts and uncles? Those are your cousins. And what's really, really helpful here is that the word cousin works for both boys and girls. It makes it super easy to remember.
Okay, now let's tackle 2 words that can sometimes trip people up. Nephew and niece. But it's actually really simple when you break it down. Your brother or sister's son is your nephew. And their daughter, she's your niece.
All right, so we've got all the names and titles down. Perfect. But, your family members are so much more than just a label, right? They're people with unique personalities. So let's talk about how to add a little life to our descriptions.
Here are some really great words, some adjectives you can use to really bring your family to life when you talk about them. For instance, supportive means they're always there to encourage you. Generous means they love to give. Using words like these, it just paints a much better picture of who these people really are.
So let's try putting that all together. You could say something simple and clear like, my older brother is very hardworking. See how that works? You've got the family member and you've got a word that describes his personality. Perfect.
Or maybe you want to share something a little more personal, a real feeling. You could say something like, my grandmother is the kindest person I know. That adds such a wonderful personal touch, doesn't it?
Okay, so we've got the vocabulary down, we've got the describing words, but how do we actually put it all together in a real conversation? Because, knowing the words is one thing, but actually using them with confidence, that's the real goal here. Here is a super simple but really effective way to think about it. Just a little 3-step flow. First, you start by asking a common question. Step 2, you give a nice simple answer. And then, and this part is so important, you ask a question back. That's how you keep the conversation flowing.
Let's just walk through a few common examples so you can see what I mean. If someone asks you, do you have any siblings? A simple yes, I have one brother is a perfect answer. Or what if they ask, how big is your family? You could say something like, there are 5 of us. And if you get a really open question, like, tell me about your family, a really warm and great answer is something like, my family is very close.
So really, what's the most important thing to remember from all this? It's to just start simple. Use these basic words we've talked about, and please, don't worry about being perfect.
The whole idea is just to build your confidence, little by little, so you can start sharing the stories of the people you love.
And that just about wraps it up. So I guess there's only one question left. Now that you've got the words, whose story are you going to share first?